Hi everyone, welcome back to the second part of my video on the strategy for CFA Level 3 exam candidates for 2020. So in the first part of my video, I went through what a Level 3 exam candidate who failed the 2019 exam, what could they do for the coming month, which is September. Okay, what can they do first before if they do not want to register early? Okay, they can still use the old readings from 2019. Okay, but in this video, we're going to go through what if you have signed up for the 2020 exam and you have gotten the new materials. Now, so of course, I will propose two study paths. Okay, so you can you can choose to follow or you can choose to modify from it. Okay, but I will have some inputs to that as well, so just take note of that. Now, the first path that I'll go through is based on the new arrangement, or what people call reshuffling. So of course, I normally would advise students to go through the easier readings first. Okay, those that allow you to slowly settle in. So of course, usually I would recommend going through behavioral finance. Okay, so there's been no changes to this section. So after you've done through behavioral finance, you can then move on to capital market expectations. And this will roughly be around economics. You'll be looking at the business cycles, okay, getting interest rates, monetary policies, fiscal policies. Okay, and in capital market expectations, they will also discuss on some biases that could affect how analysts develop capital market expectations. Then from then, it leads to asset allocation. Okay, so then here there'll be three readings that you will look through. Now, of course, after you've gone through asset allocation, pretty much there are a few paths that you can go to. Now you can choose to proceed to derivatives. Okay, and take note that reading 17 here is on currency management. It used to be part of asset allocation. Now, what I would advise is that if you're going to study derivatives, then it will be followed through by fixed income. Okay, so there are some elements of derivatives discussed in fixed income, okay, pertaining the use of futures contracts or swaps or options or swaptions. Okay, so it is good to have done through derivatives, but then again, if you want to go straight to fixed income, okay, there's nothing stopping you there. Right, now of course, besides that, after asset allocation, you can actually go through equity, okay, or you can even go through alternative investments, which is a new study session for 2020. Now once you're done with these readings, you can then proceed to private wealth management. So of course there'll be 5 readings here. Now of course, after this you can proceed on to the case study, okay, which is on in reading 38. So there'll be a case study on private wealth where they will try to integrate all the readings that you have learned so far from private wealth management, from asset allocation, okay, and it mainly covers around the need for insurance, for example. So that would draw a lot from reading 32, risk management for individuals. Now after that, you can move on to portfolio management for institutional investors. That's reading 33. And that leads to the case study, okay, for portfolio management, where you will focus on we'll look at the case study on an institutional investor. So that's reading 37. Of course, then you will have all the other miscellaneous topics like trading. That's reading 34. And then there is the portfolio performance evaluation. That's reading 35, which leads to then reading 36 on the investment manager selection. Now, of course, after reading 35, you can even move on to GIPS, okay? But GIPS would be a pretty dry top reading for most students, so you can keep that to the last. And of course, not forgetting ethics, okay? Ethics will be reading 1, okay, to 4 actually. Okay, reading 1 will be on the code of ethics. Reading 2 and 3 will be on the 7 standards and applications. Reading 4 will be a new reading for those who are new to level 3, that's the asset manager code of conduct. And reading 5 will be on professionalism in the investment management industry. Okay, so that's the flow that you can go through to have a proper or a foundation or a big picture, okay, of level 3. Now of course, this is just a suggested way you can study through. Of course, if you want to start with fixed income or you want to start with derivatives first or equity, then by all means you can do that. But just take note that for private wealth management, it's best to do it after you have done asset allocation and behavioral finance. okay, so that you at least have an idea of how individuals may behave. Okay, it's the same thing for institutional investors. Okay, it's best to have done through asset allocation as well. Okay, and capital market expectations. Now, another suggested path for those who, let's say, came from the 2019 syllabus. Okay, so let's say if you want something that's close to the 2019 syllabus, this is how it will look like. So you will start off with behavioral finance, reading 7, 8, 9, and then on to private wealth management. Okay, so of course this is the reading number for the 2020 syllabus. So after private wealth management, you will move on to institutional investors. Then of course it then goes back to the capital market expectations. So then it moves into asset allocation. But take note here that I have moved reading 17 over. Reading 17 is on currency management and introduction. So this used to be under asset allocation. So these are only recommended for those who wants to follow the 2019 flow. And that moves into fixed income, and then followed by equity, and then alternative investments. Okay, so now after you are done with this, okay, then lastly you end off with derivatives. After covering all these readings, you can then move into the other smaller topics like trading and execution, portfolio performance evaluation, and investment manager selection. And then of course once you're done with these three, okay, you can go into the case studies. Okay, or you can choose to study through GIPS. Okay, but GIPS will be mostly regulation or the rules or requirements that you have to follow. And of course ethics, you can slot it in anytime, but usually I'll leave it more towards the end. So you have about 9 months to study. It's only early September, so you have to make full use of your time to actually cover through all the readings. Level 3 is less technical compared to level 2. Okay, but there's a lot of strategies, okay, and you have to look at the big picture. Now in terms of preparation, of course when you read through the textbook, okay, try to go through all the blue box examples. Okay, those contain a lot of useful examples. And after every reading, try the end of chapter questions. Okay, the structured response questions, and also the multiple choice questions. Try to have a good balance of both. And then once you are done with the whole topic, you can then go to the CFA website, log into your student account, and try the online topical quiz. Okay, so this will all be multiple choice questions. For past year papers, since there's a huge change to the syllabus for 2020, so just use the past year as a guide to give you a rough idea of how the questions are being set. Once you finish your study, hopefully you will finish your study by March or April, then you will have time to do start your revision. And then CFA does provide mock exams. There will be 2 sets of them. And the mock exams are only multiple choice questions. Okay, they don't provide the structured response mock exam. Okay, so you will only have these MCQ questions. Okay, especially if you are self-studying. Now, a few things to highlight. Now, if you are new to level 3, so from students' response, they usually say that fixed income and derivatives are usually the toughest area for them. But this again falls back to your own interests and your strengths. Okay, if you are strong with fixed income, then by all means you can start off with it. Okay, and another area is on reading 17. Okay, they will tend to have a lot of confusion. You just have to go through the materials, okay, and the examples, then you will have a good understanding of it.